months wasted waiting, all coins on pause, lost time stacking, opportunities lost. Gains come slow, then they slip away fast. Frustrated as hell, disgusted with the blast. Tired of the grind, exhausted from the chase. Dreams of no debt fade in this empty space. Back sitting heavy, sentiment turning sour. Waiting for the run, hour after hour. Drained from the weight gains, get back to fight. Frustrated soul, tired through the night. Lost time echoes, opportunities ghosts. Disgusted heart, exhausted the most. We chase the moon, but it slips through our hands. All coins tease, breaking all our plans. Corrections hit hard, sentiment flips quick. Gains evaporate, leaving us sick. Bags shrink, small dreams on hold again. Exhausted mind, when will it end? Disgusted with the tease, the up and down game. Lost gains mock me, driving me insane. Opportunity costs, time I can't reclaim. Frustrated trader, playing this flame. Drained from the weight gains, get back to fight. Frustrated soul, tired through the night. Lost time echoes, opportunities ghosts. Disgusted heart, exhausted the most. We chase the moon, but it slips through our hands. All coins tease, breaking all our plans. Behold that spark, a ray breaks the gloom. No dead dreams, vacations in bloom. Parties popping, fun in the sun. Unicorns dancing, Lambos on the run. Golden ticket gleams, sunshine through the storm. Hope's the anchor, keeping us warm. Stacked through the pain, the payoff's near. Exhausted now, but victory's clear. Drained from the weight gains, get back to fight. Frustrated soul, tired through the night. Lost time echoes, opportunities ghosts. Disgusted heart, exhausted the most. But hope's coming, yeah. Stack or fold, rise from the cold. Yeah. Should've shorted, now I'm sunk. Be hitting low, BTC tanking hard. All coins still to show. Missed the dip, start long. Feeling the sting. Lost time burning, hit a regret ring. Yeah. Damn it all. Stuck alone, watching gains fade to dust. Frustration rising, trust turn to rust. Lost time haunts me, opportunities gone. Exhausted soul, disgusted, I held on. Trap beat thumping, bass shaking my car. Wish I short and now I'm broken sore. All coins teased and crash, no reprieve. Regrets my chain, can't believe I believe.
Once I held, hoping for that altcoin run. Gains slipped away, leaving me undone. Should've shorted when the bears took flight, now I'm tired. Disgusted by the sight, opportunity cost, time I can't get back. Exhausted from watching my stack crack. Market mock me, lungs bleeding red, wish shot for the script, shorted and
Stuck
stuck.
alone, watching gains fade to dust. Frustration rising, trust turned to rust. Lost time haunts me, opportunities gone. Exhausted soul, disgusted, I held on. Trap beat thumping, bass shaking my car. Wish I short and now I'm broken sore. All coins teased and crash, no reprieve. Regrets my chain, can't believe I believe.
All coins pumped and dumped, a cruel jest. Lost gains haunt me, no time to rest. Should've seen the sign, shorted the peak. Now I'm drained, frustration at its peak. Exhausted from the weight, disgusted with the play. Opportunity slip, watched it fade away. Lungs held tight, but the market turned cold. Regrets my shadow story yet untold. Behold that fire, a golden ray breaks through. No dead dreams, vacations in view. Parties blazing, fun under the sun. Unicorn saving grace. Short the next dip, win this endless race. Ooh, exhausted now, but the future's bright. Golden ticket shines, turning wrong to right. Stuck alone, watching gains fade to dust. Frustration rising, trust turn to run. Lost time haunts me, opportunity's gone. Exhausted soul, disgusted I held on. Yo, short next time, learn from the pain. Lost gains fuel me, breaking the chain. 20-5 grind, turn regret to flame. Trap kings rise, reclaim the game.
Bring out your dead.
Trapped in bad
Bring out
dreams
your
on
dead.
Bitcoin. Ooh. Market crash, my coins.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, frogs and squirrels, welcome to the emergency daytime Bitcoin broadcast today on Monday. It's about 4 p.m. after we watched another market sell-off here. Seems like when we get in a fight with China, China likes to sell off a bunch of Bitcoin and makes altcoin markets tank. Just what I've kind of observed since we got a little fighting going on over there. And is this good or is this bad? Well, I tell you, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. There's a lot of things to be concerned about. There's some hope, but is it too late for hope? I guess that's a legitimate question to be asking now that it has officially been more than 4 years since we topped out in Bitcoin on a 4-year cycle. When you do the math there, it kind of makes you think that, well, any bear signs that we have right now are probably indicative of a bear market. And there's always that reluctance to want to accept a bear market in crypto and maybe in other places, but especially in crypto, we don't want to see it happen. We want to fight it tooth and nail. And, you know, because we got so much invested in here and still so much hope that has been unrealized, those Lambo dreams. And I think the only ones that have been buying Lambos lately are the ones that had paid trading groups. They seem to be buying Lambos. The people in those groups don't seem to be buying those Lambos. Isn't that kind of interesting? This has been one of the suckiest bull cycles in crypto. I think it'll go down in history as being one of the suckiest. Now, Bitcoin did okay. And for the people who were Bitcoin maxis, they're like, yeah, I told you, bitches. Yeah, I told you it's all Bitcoin. And okay. I cannot deny that, because the proof is in the numbers that your Bitcoin play was the best play to have all cycle. Your altcoin plays, there are a few that popped off. There are a lot of them that died. Do you remember OM Metro DAO? Yeah, that one was awesome, right? Man, it was awesome, going up to $9 and whatnot. It went up a lot, and then it's like at probably around a dime right now, less than 20 cents right now. A lot of projects, you know, were smoke and mirrors. A lot of them are. A lot of them overhyped. And so I think that narrative and use case is more important now when it comes to altcoins, as well as tokenomics. You also see all those coins out there. They have billions and billions of coins. And how do they perform? Not very well. Not very. They'll get their little spurt, but then that's about all you see out of them, right? Take a look at XCN. Had this nice little run up to a nickel, and it's ever since then it's been over. So we've seen some good outcomes on some of these altcoins, but if you didn't take advantage of it, maybe you said, all right, yeah, I'm going to keep holding this one, I'm going to buy the dips. That play has not been the most effective one, we'll put it that way, for altcoins. But I guess it's time to reevaluate one more time. And this is my CoinX chart that I'm following, and I'm just going to clear it off there and just kind of draw this more clearly. We're looking for trend lines, and we've got one. And we're not at the bottom of it yet. We can be. The weird thing about this is that it's starting to break our rules for what we want to see in a bull market. as the 50 moving average here on the weekly, we're on the weekly time frame, has been compromised. It's never been good when it's been compromised. And I wouldn't expect anything much different what we see over here. If we're able to come back up and retest it at any point, that might be the perfect area to start shorting this bear market when we come back up there. Very similar to what we had over here back in 2021. Remember, this was the top right here. This was our second top Monday, November 8th, 2021, 4 years ago on Bitcoin, which has a 4-year cycle. Every 4 years we have a halving, and our cycle is based off of that halving. This time it shifted up just a little early, about 6 months, and before the halving we had our first new all-time high where we came above this point here. That would have been right here in March. So in March of 2024 was when we had our halving. Now that won't happen for another approximately 4 years, and we're looking at, I think, about 2027 when the next halving comes, if I'm not mistaken. 2 more years down the road. And betwixt now and then, this is what it looked like from the cycle top to that halving right here. Twas not fun. Bitcoin fell 70%. Will it do that this time? I don't think that we're going to see that big of a dip if we go into a bear market, but we got to accept reality that we might be in one, or maybe there is some kind of bigger play that goes in 2026. We can look at those ideas. When we come back to our last cycle and we pull from our low to our high up there, and we label out a few of these areas that we were looking for it to kind of catch, and it looked like it could catch over here at 44,000 and keep going up. That was definitely a possibility. Had a trend line idea. That would have been a great place for it to come down. So anybody looking for that idea, I can't remember what the hell I was doing back there, but this is how we would typically look at it. And if it were playing out, and same thing that we're doing right now, we've also got the, a nice trend line going up there. But will it break the trend line and come back down and try to retest it? That's what we got to pay attention to if we don't want to get caught up in all this mess. Now, if there is a possibility the trend line will maintain, and for instance, here's our current situation, which technically on the bigger picture things is not really bearish yet by typical price action, meaning that there's still this little ray of hope that right down here toward the bottom, around this $84,000 area where we have a 236 Fibonacci, we can bounce there and get a nice bounce that can take us back up to some nice areas. Now that's a very hopium situation. I mean, it does literally put 170 on the table if we can get a bounce here. Will that happen? Well, it's starting to look more doubtful if we take the time element of the cycles into consideration. And a lot of people say the 4-year cycle is dead. I can't subscribe to that, because you cannot make the halving disappear every 4 years. That's going to have an impact. Now, that's a given. So to me, that's a stupid argument. 4-year cycle is dead. This is your halving right here, right? Let's just make it a big red line. Now, that's not a red line. Now, how that, and this would be our cycle, right? So in a perfect world, we would be balanced, right? How can we do this? Can we do something like this? Maybe I can. Can we, do you got symbols over here? That would be awesome. Do you have anything over here I can use? Can we search? You have no search? There should be a search over here. What we got over here? We got I see one of these. A cow, or a bull. Maybe it's a bull. And what we got? A bear. You got a bear? There's a bear. All right. Do you have a better bull? You have a cuter bull? I'm just asking for a friend. They get kind of. We got a pig. We got a monkey. All right. We may be sticking with our a horse. You don't have a bull? Other than, let's go with this one. How about you? All right. So, in a perfect world, this would be our 50%, right? This is our happening, right? Maybe equal sides. And I think what we're seeing is just a shift of our bear markets will get a little bit smaller. And not as intense because it is a maturing asset class. And it appears that our bull markets are getting just a little bit more elongated here. And there's some interesting arguments to be made about that if we take a look at how long these cycles have lasted and everything. We don't have a big enough chart over here to really go into it. But between the halvings and the tops of the cycles, there has been a little elongation every cycle. We might still be in a little window. Maybe this one's elongating. Maybe you can make an argument. And I think it's worth following. Especially, you know, as long as we still got this trend line here, this main one right here, as long as that's not broken and we haven't made a lower low from over here at 73,000, I think it's still prudent to entertain the idea that there might be a slam bam thank you ma'am where they drive us up to 140 or something like this for another higher high into Q1 of next year. And maybe we start seeing a Christmas rally and things like that happen a little bit, but it's overall disappointing. It's not playing according to his rules, and I think that's the smart money playing those rules against retail. And now that retail has had its ass totally whooped in here, the only people that would be just really balling on this move are people that were convicted to go short over here at 124 and just keep shorting it all the way down. And I gotta say that that's few and far between. You know, I'm not seeing many people, especially, you know, here on Crypto YouTube, where we got a bunch of gurus out here just trying to you know, flexing their lifestyle and everything else like that they make all this money trading. But I don't think you can ever see of anything or them where they've got big short money to show from that big call, that big play. I think everybody's been caught up in this because I think we've been led to the slaughter by the big boys. It's exactly what it seems like to me. This is how I interpret it. But regardless of that, we did pull our fibs, and we got a very, very nice little fib area there. But I think and we need to keep the whole story. Ideally, we can make an argument. Maybe we see something 84. Maybe we just keep on coming down. We touch the trend line, and then we start trying to do a recovery and go for a higher high. We could look at that. That's feasible. And the measure move from that takes us just a little bit right in this area right here. And if we go from high to low, I believe that should be our 113, right? Or 127. And that's at 136. So there's a scenario we can make the argument has not been invalidated for that. However, it's just not. All right. Weekly candle right here. We lost the 50. But we haven't opened the candle underneath it, at least on these Heikin-Ashi candles. Now on the regular candles, it's a different story. On Heikin-Ashi, we still got that candle here. You may laugh at this idea or not, but there's a chance if we can come back up here and touch that green moving average. Right now it's at 108. And maybe we still got a little something going on as far as being bullish, and this is just one of the greatest flush outs. We could be looking at one of the biggest hoodwinks going on in Bitcoin right now. And you know, they're not concerned about altcoins. The altcoins are just suffering through it all, right? Not a great time to be trying to long altcoins at all if Bitcoin is not happy and people are thinking we're in a bear market. And we'll probably start seeing a big flush out of altcoins if we're not careful there. It's a scary situation. So there is still a bullish argument to be made. And also, if we come over, and let me put this back onto, can we get log? I looked at log last night at the request of Jim Jarender was in our chat last night. And that was really revealing. That's not what I'm looking at. Here we go, log. Actually, I think I had this on, yeah, this one. I already got it pinned out here. This is what our chart looks like on log scale. And we have a trend line from candle bodies to candle, well, technically to wicks right here. And we are testing that line. Now, last night we looked at it and it looked like it might be able to hold. Right now we can see that we're trying to wick down on it. Here we are on the 3-day. We got a 200 moving average down here close to our same little fib area, about 85,000. So there's an argument where we could be wicking down to touch that 200, about 88, and 88's a number that a lot of people have looked at. 200 moving average on the 3-day also gives you confluence on that. Now, if we were to do that and bounce off the 200, we would be looking to come back and retest the 100 and the 50. Now, the 100's at 102 and the 50's at 113. That would look like a recovery, wouldn't it? So it's an idea we can still look at. We have not made a lower low from here. And if we go from swing low to swing high over here, you can also see that we got confluence at the 786 right there too, which would be one of the areas I'd look for. The other thing is it just ends up breaking this trend line here, and that's not good unless it's a bear trap idea. But this trend line is not noted to have a lot of bear traps, right? In fact, it was starting to trend the other way. We had this, lost that, it matured into this line, and there was a bear trap idea there, and we recovered a little bit until we eventually lost it right here. That would have been a good way to mark, what was that, 119? That would have been a nice little exit signal right there, following that original trend line there. There are lots of signs on the wall. Is like, do we act on them though? There were lots of them. One of the earliest signs that we saw for Bitcoin, and one of the main ones that I looked for, that I vowed to always play, but for some reason the smaller time frame always tricked me, and that's the weekly MACD, which flipped bearish on us. Let me get out of the log here and back to this other chart, the weekly MACD. But the strange thing that happened on this weekly MACD is this: is as soon as we went bearish on it right here, draw that little line, and as soon as the lines were crossing right here, saying, it was Mom MACD saying, honey, you need to get out of this market, it's getting ready to go south, this is it, I'm telling you, this is it, this is all over. Because she's got a really good record of telling us when we need to sell every damn time. And you know, listening to it would save all the drawdown from 98 to 75. There was drawdown from 63 down to 48. It took it a while, and sometimes it can. A strange thing that happened on this one, she crossed bearish and then we went up for a new all-time high, and that just threw everything off. That was the mind F of all mind Fs, I guess, on the trader psychology there, because that got the whole market bullish when it didn't need to be, when it needed to be more concerned. And we talked about it, but hell, every time the MACD flips weekly, I'm talking about it. I just ain't acting on it. And every time that I don't act on it, we'll always look back and say, smart move would have been to act on it, even if it wasn't perfect, even though we went back up at all-time highs, even if I didn't sell at all-time highs. Looking back to where we are now, I would be in a much better predicament, right? I mean, that's basically how it works out with the MACD weekly. So I think we can get some subtle rules out here, and one is, I don't want to use this one, so get some rules of the game here, and one of the rules is don't fade. You can't see that. That's not big enough. Are you serious? One is, don't fade the weekly MACD. That's definitely a rule. Okay. Because if there's anything that's going to help us figure out this market, it's the weekly MACD. And she tried. Them little suckers did a wham bam thank you ma'am, but she was right. And the 50 weekly moving average, we don't want to fade the 50 weekly moving average. And a lot of people are looking at that right now, and dang right, they should be. Everybody should have been looking at that a lot earlier too. But you know, you can see things. And a lot of people, some people look at the EMA or whatever. I think the moving averages are where it's at. That's the ones I see the best response out of Bitcoin. And historically, I mean, we played with it, but we always bounced above it. It's just a wick to it, and we weren't closing full-on candle bodies below it. So what I was mentioning earlier, you know, with this weekly Heikin-Ashi candle, and see, we did open above the 50. And so there's a slight chance that maybe we can recover back up there in the 102, 103, and this would be a wick. That's what we would need to see. Ichimoku Cloud says she's game for it. Okay, so there's some hopium. And as far as our indicators go, I mean, money flow is declining. That's not great. But it's still in the green, so we can get a half of a check off of that. Stochastics are buried, man, at 0. So if they flip to the upside, that could lead credence to this idea. And momentum wave's already down, so it doing a green dot here over the next week or two could happen. But it needs to happen this week. It needs to happen this week if we want to see it, right? So we got 6 days to see if this little hopium scenario might happen. And within that 6 days, we can also keep on pressing down here and could still pull it off. It gets a little bit more doubtful the more we come down here. So there's a little hopium situation, and maybe there's a fake out and we got something coming in Q1, but it looks like Christmas is canceled this year for crypto so far, as it seems. But this is not what we like here. So there's a fake out scenario, but then there's also the very more realistic scenario, 4-year cycle, you know, that we are heading into a bear market. The hopium part for that would be it'll be a shorter bear market, and maybe not a full year to hit bottom, or maybe if it is a full year to hit bottom and then we go to the next halving, not as much of a decline, and maybe instead of falling 70%, you know, we only fall 50%, or maybe to our 618. Because our fib levels we still got a lot of bullish fib levels. I don't see anything taking us down here to 39 or 27. Some people are looking at those ideas, but I don't think they're taking into account the global adoption of Bitcoin. That's very real and very serious. And now that the big money has finally investigated and say, oh, there is something to this Bitcoin thing, and now we have you know, a way to do it without, you know, the SEC getting all over us or whatever the reasons were, and more nation states and more corporations aren't doing it. I think we'll still see that narrative because it does outperform the dollar. It does outperform all other assets, and they know that. There's still a curving going on. But you can say that, ooh, did you really? I can't get you up there. Gosh darn it, now I can't move you. That was lining up pretty well there and went right up to that 114 area. Coming down here from the bottom and just dialing it in as much as I can to where we get some touches here. We got a touch there, the wicks. Not quite a touch there. Yeah, but that's lost about 112. So we lost the curve, at least as well as how well it fits here. Now, could there be a much bigger curve? And yeah, I'd say that overall there really is, going back even to the last cycles here, a much bigger curve. Now, see how that one kind of fits a little bit better with this idea? So I find that interesting. If you just kind of, and then this goes multi-cycles from 2020 to the bottom of 2022 to where we had 52,000. Might we come down just to this 88,000? Well, 88 or 84,000 be enough to tick our boxes, and maybe we can get a higher high out of it. That is the most hopeful situation that I can give you right now. And then the bear situation would be Well, we gradually move our way down to 70,000 and maybe down to 58. If we do come back down to these areas, you know, a lot of people are going to be looking. I think that idea is already being floated out there. A lot of people preemptively calling it head and shoulders. Yeah, we don't know, okay? I think people just like to do that to make them think like that they can see in the future and whatever, so they can come out. See, I told you it was going to do a head and shoulders. And if it does, and if it doesn't, you know, then they're like, never mention it again, and everybody forgot about it. Right now, I don't know. I wouldn't. There's a lot of things it can do. We don't know. All we can do is watch and see what it does do and have a plan of action, right? But I do know that 83, 84 would make a great area of support, and since we lost our other major trend line, our fib level, which was this red line, put him back up there. And perhaps, you know, I mean, if we catch ourselves recovering that $100,000 area or retesting it, and there's an argument that we can. I mean, it feels like it's just going to be straight down from here, right? But that's not how it works. It's not how it works. And even back here, you know, it felt like it's going to be just straight down, but we did go sideways and pull back up a little bit before we did get that other bearish cross in the 21 over the 50, and that kind of sealed it right there on the weekly. The weekly time frame at this point in the game is your best friend. It is not the 1 minute, not the 5 minute, not the 4 hour. The 4 hour is helpful, but the one that's really going to guide you right now is going to be the weekly, and probably it wouldn't be a bad time to look at some of the bigger ones like the monthly. Now, if we look at the monthly, I gotta say, you don't look half bad. That monthly still looks pretty good to me, honestly. Well, did it look as good over here? Yeah, well, it didn't look too bad over here until we lost the 21 moving average. Got rejected underneath that 9. We're on our first candle losing the 9 on the monthly over here. That would be equivalent to this drop right here, where we started breaking trend lines. Some might say that if I kind of tweak this line for the monthly, we're kind of in the same situation over here, losing the 9, wicking below. But I gotta say this. Well, where was it? We didn't even have the Ichimoku cloud over here to guide us there. Ichimoku cloud looks pretty bitchin' here on the monthly. So now, I can't speak for altcoins, but I can say that there is a narrative for Bitcoin. There's a narrative of Bitcoin that she can dig her way out of this. But it may not be for a month or so before we start seeing that happen. Meaning that right now, yeah, we are bearish, and there are some bearish signs. And maybe we should play it that way. But for the bigger picture, it's still got some bullish things. Like the 21 moving average is right down here. Now we could easily come and bounce off of the 21. I would only be scared if we lose it and we struggle with it. Like if we don't get a nice bounce off of it and we just kind of ride above it, that could be a sign of weakness. But how we react to that 21 could be a nice indicator here of what to expect. So I do think it's very important for us to keep an eye on the monthly and the weekly. But there's a situation here on the monthly where we just bounce there and we just keep on going. Ichimoku cloud looks pretty bitchin' over here. How do our other indicators look over here? Oh, well, MACD not looking too good. She looking like she about to give it up on the monthly. I would say that's probably worthwhile looking at too, taking that into consideration. Last time it did, it was right over here too. So we're seeing some similarities. We're seeing some similarities happen here that led into the bear market. So it's a very difficult call. It's a very difficult call and a very difficult play, and it depends on where your convictions are. Your bear market for the monthly has typically been right down to the 50 moving average, and that would again take us about 50%, or $54,000. And from our high to come down there, yeah, you got about a 55% drop. Might it happen? Well, maybe that's all we see in our bear market is a chance to come down to these areas here. That's a 50% drop coming to our 0.5 Fibonacci or 618 area. So entertaining some possibilities of what we could be looking at, but nothing is written in this in the sand just yet. So there's some hopium signs on the bigger time frame that there's still a sliver of hope of a recovery. It's getting kind of doubtful. You got to break outside the 4-year cycle narrative to kind of go with that idea, and some people just aren't going to do it. We're sitting here watching Bitcoin just hold $91,000. Lost our areas, just lost them, decimated. So hopefully you got your stop losses in place, layered stops, however you're trying to do it, because everything right now is pointing like we're trying to come down to this $84,000 area. Here we see on the 4 hour how we just flip the bands over here. We got our official ribbon flip happening right here when we're still up about 100,000. And just breaking trend lines just kind of sucks in general. But we should see at some point some push back up toward 100,000, whether we hit $100,000 or not, I don't know. But if you're looking to short for real, I think those would be your best plays for opening a short. Trying to open a short now, it can go against you, but every time that I warned against shorting the bottoms before, though, I mean, it's sound advice, but we lost them and we didn't continue down because, well, that's just the trend that we're in. We're in that down trend, and it seems to be getting stronger and stronger with every level that we lose. But it's not like a sharp straw, it's just a steady grind down. We talked about how price was moving up last night, but the volume was not there, and that was my warning. Like, we see that they're trying to pump us up a little bit on the Sunday. It looks hopeful. That looks good, but there's no volume behind it. It's going the wrong way. There was a divergence there. It's not real. They're trying to fool you. And they're very good at fooling us. Let me come over and say hello to everybody in the chat so I can figure out if my microphone's on or off. That would suck if it wasn't. Got 7 people hanging out, so we lost some. I guess what I'm talking about is not of too much interest. We got Silver Days, more cowbell. We got Soul in the house, Dave P. Kelly says, I saw an EW analysis down to 80th and then relief rally to 117, I think, and then back down to 30. 30,000, it's too soon to call something like that. That was the areas when we didn't have bigger money looking into it and involved with it. We're in a new game now and a more maturing asset, so 30,000 is kind of an extreme bearish call. I mean, not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's a little bit more unlikely now. As evolved as Bitcoin has come. Now your altcoins, hell, they can go to zero. They always can. They can suck. Even their best ones will turn out and oh God, why am I in there? Ugh. But the Bitcoin, that 21 million limited supply, which is a lot less than that, roughly somewhere around 15 million if we're being actually accurate about it, what's available and accessible and not lost. Accidentally burnt by going to different, bad wallets or whatever, and lost wallets. Kayla says, I started selling earlier today, ready to wait for the bear bottom and go all in on Bitcoin only. That's a smart move, Kelly. That's what I did for this cycle. That was the right move for me to make. The wrong move I made was not really paying as much attention to Bitcoin dominance chart and how it relates to altcoins, and I was using my Bitcoin and swap margin to help maintain and open up some other alt positions. And basically how that transcribed was as Bitcoin dominance kept going up, well, my Bitcoin kept bleeding out. And so it sucked all the value from my Bitcoin. So my bag of Bitcoin just shrunk. And that's a horrible feeling. because it's hard to grow that. So I would warn, I'd say you're on the right track to focus on Bitcoin, because that was the right play. That was the and if I hadn't said, oh man, I want to see if we can, let's play these alts, because that's how they're played. They usually have a point where they will go up against it. You can play wrong. So if put in Bitcoin and then put it on the wallet, that would have been the best move. Had I done that and not started going into some of the altcoin plays the way that I did it with the spot margin, using my Bitcoin to help be collateral for it, I would be sitting very, very much prettier. The altcoins just tanked everything. APF says cycles cook. Go look monthly MACD. Oh yeah, we just did. About to flip bearish if this month keeps going like this. Once it flips 100% rate like all bear markets. Yeah, we just saw the monthly MACD there, and she's not very confident looking, and that would be a terrible sign for that to happen. Let's see, we're on the daily. I want to see if I can finesse this trend line here. That's it to a wick. I really do. Okay, wick and okay, that lines up better. Now I got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches right there. Valid trend line. So I want to stick with this guy. I'll probably lock him in here on this chart. Come down to the 4 hour and see what we're looking at there. But even, I think the biggest takeaway that we can get, even if we are in a bear market, it doesn't mean it goes straight down. It means that there will be a little dead cat bounce, I guess, if you want to call it, or something. I'm expecting us to come down to this area and we'll come back up. Now, how far we go up, well, we'll have to see. If I had to guesstimate, and we can get a rough idea of that. Oh, beautiful. That's a 382 up there. Internet go down. Are we back on? Okay. All right, well, that was weird. I think we just glitched out. A lot of weird stuff going on the internet. Hopefully, we still got 9 people hanging out. All right, so this is Bitcoin, but what about all the altcoins? And perhaps we should take a look at those real quick. Let's take a look at Total 3. It's down to $884 billion. What the hell? Okay, there's my chart. So let's zoom out and take a look at altcoins. And yeah, Elliot had a wave 3 target over here. Did that ever? What are you looking at, Elliot? Now what are you doing? There's your wave 3, 4, 5 ABC correction. You haven't got it spelled out just yet. Alright, I'm going to take all this stuff off so we can take a fresh look at it. There's our strongest trend line right there. This suggests that coming back down to talk to the big Miss Lucy line right here, about 811 billion could be on the table. So that's about an $80 billion that could be coming out as we drop down to that area, if that's where we're headed. Now what happens after that? Well, we either bounce or we break that line. Now we did have a higher high over here, and we can still be making a higher low. And I'm not trying to be just that hopium person out here. Oh yeah, we're all going to coming. But there is a much bigger picture that there may be something different going on. Okay, 2026 might have another little leg up for Bitcoin and altcoins. So I don't want to rule that idea out, because these bastards play dirty. And if they get you, oh, we're in bear market, I'm shorting everything down to the ground, that would be the perfect setup for them to flim, throw another Chinese ching chong on you and just ruin you. Okay, so I think they're out to ruin everybody. I don't care if I think they want you to go bearish so that they can make it go bullish again and just chop you the hell up, because they're really good at that. And they got a reason to want to do that, especially for Bitcoin anyway. Altcoins, I don't think they've got the reasons just quite yet. So I'm trying to get a read on some of our altcoins there, as my computer just slows down like crazy. Not crazy about what I'm seeing there. Some people might be trying to look for some kind of double bottom and some little relief rally on altcoins. Maybe we get something. I'm not seeing anything too great. I'm not seeing anything too great happening right now. It'd be nice if my computer would cooperate. Okay. Nine people are hanging out. Thank you for being here. As soon as we can get a chart up, we'll take a look at it. From our high last time, we didn't get too much higher there. We didn't quite hit our little target area. That's interesting to note. Is it technically still up? Man, technically it's still on the table for 1.123 trillion. And so is $802 billion as a support area. And I see some strong areas of support there. A higher high. How much higher did you get from here? You still didn't quite hit me there either. So I still see a scenario where we could have a bounce. Now, whether it's a dead cat bounce, I still see a scenario where they can push us down, going into the end of November here in early December, and then somewhere in December start rallying us back up again. Now, I don't know if it would just be a small rally and we roll over, or if we might actually come up and do something good and they'll get us all excited again and then slam it on us. But I don't think the rodeo's quite over yet. We just took a beating this week. I don't think the rodeo is in full force either, meaning I don't think that we're about just to have the greatest altcoin season ever. I cross our fingers that something like that could happen, but the only way that would happen is if they flush everybody out and it's a surprise and everybody ends up chasing. That's a scenario that I would see. And right now, I think it's just they're just wanting to hurt everybody as much as they can. And they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it. Looking at crypto bubbles just to take a look at what's been happening, and look on the weekly, down 13-15% across the board. On the monthly, do we dare look? About the same, okay. For the whole year for altcoins, look at this. 52% down, 60% down, 35% down. All these are down. But yet you got some gurus out here, except for the 100. Now they were up 200%. So that clearly tells us that the biggest money in altcoins has been in the top 100 and not so much on the lower plays. And of course we can see Zcash hype had its little season, but after it had its season, it kind of hasn't done much. Dash done pretty good. Zcash was clearly the winner. Monero decred, my little baby, but now she's stumbling. Don't know if she's ever going to hit that $250 market cap or a $50 coin. Not if we're continue the trajectory we were on, for sure. All right, and coming back and check on Bitcoin here. What's up, internet? Why are you sucking so much? All right, well, come on. I'm back down on the 6 minute now as we just kind of look. You got something like that going on trend line wise. You also got resistance right up ahead from this idea, not looking too good. Where's that, about 92.8? Coming down to 90, slow burn down to 84. It's still basically what we're seeing out of this idea, in my personal opinion here. And we're at one possible level. I'm doing some stuff a little different right here. And 90,000, 89, 87, 86 as we kind of step our way down. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Now, Monday is often called the false move. And for the last few weeks, they've been a little bit more bullish on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Start Tuesday night, Wednesday is when they would start their dump routine and start dumping on us. Fridays would ease up a little bit to kind of entice people to start buying on the weekends. No different this past weekend. Like, okay, well, also starting to do a little bit. Let's go ahead and put some more money in there. And then here we come on Sunday night and now Monday, and things go down, and like they trap the weekends. They trap the weekend people. And all that does is just slowly drain your account. They are so good at getting the money out of your pocket into theirs. They're very good at it. Let me come over to the chat and see what you guys are talking about. I'll come all the way back down to the end here. Kelly says, I like BitX 2X Lev ETF when we're going up. I think I want to DCA into Bitcoin inverse ETF. ETFs are getting a lot of plays. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the ETF so much because of the premiums. And I just think it's a little bit better to actually do the actual asset. But if you got an account with that available, and I don't see it. Now, one thing I want to start doing on the channel, okay, so if crypto is going to go through this, I want to start looking at some other things, other opportunities, and maybe start looking at some stock plays and some things like that. Because, you know, I don't know. I want to see some positive cash flow and not just have to come over here and say, oh my God, they're dying again. I want to be coming on here and say, hey man, look, this is working. Let's go here. Hey man, look, this is working over here. Let's look at this area. If we still have a cycle, then we have an alt season, says Dave P. Oh, when will it ever get here? I'm ready to become a macro trader, says Kelly. Mic is on. Any merit to the sharks and leverage wealth story? Tom Lee report on. You know, I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard of it. That's a courageous turkey confronting bulls and bears like that. Did I miss something? Universal 9-year Mayan PsyOps hacks confusion. I told you guys at the beginning of the year in Telegram group, balance the mind, don't let them psych you out. We got that rooster thing going on too, right? PMO possibly making a rounding bottom on what? Bitcoin? I don't see anything on Bitcoin. Roundy bottom. Bullish on Parade, how's it going, my man? Matty goes, I'm short and heavy after the dead cat bounce. Yeah, I want to start stacking NVIDIA and more Tesla for stocks. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. And MicroStrategies, I've just got out of that today. I said, I'm done. I kept waiting for it maybe to come back up a little bit to exit, and it just clearly is not. That was such a good play. That was such a good play until suddenly it just wasn't a good play anymore. When he went off and they started doing these other derivatives of it, that killed it. And it just reminded me of DeFi. You'd see DeFi start out with something, then we're going to add this other coin over here, and it's going to do this and that. And as soon as they did that, it was like, oh, you just killed everything else that we had going for us. And that's exactly what it felt like when MicroStrategies did that. So now I don't trust that one anymore. This is NVIDIA. She's got a nice little pullback today. Some people will say, oh, she's over. It's too much. It's too expensive. I need more price history. Oh, here we go. There's our price history. Man, is my internet just sucking or what? So this is NVIDIA. I'm gonna take a look at you on the weekly. All right, listen, dude. I want to switch over to Wi-Fi. See if I get something better over here. It shouldn't, but I may have some kind of cable issue with my LAN cable. Let's see if this works. I seem to be connected. Is that better? Huh. All right. So this is NVIDIA on the weekly, and she got to pull back. She got up to 213, and now it's down a little bit, right, to 186. Nice trend line there. Ooh, nice. That is nice. Oh, almost. I think she's still got a little bit. 232. Were you a 0.5? Did you pull back to a 0.5? Let's take a look at, and I want to see if we can break down a game plan here for NVIDIA. You didn't quite get me there. You did what you, okay, you did do your little thing there. That was beautiful. Okay, so you should be pulling back. All right, so it's respecting the harmonics. I'll get a few little ideas here. And that's also your 618 for local. Let's go ahead and put you local there. If you come back down here, it's not looking as likely. I really want to see this 382 hold. That would be the ideal situation. That's about 164 if we get down there, if it happens. So you think NVIDIA's coming down? Well, I hope not. Hope it continues to go up, but if it does come down, I might want to look at some places to get it, right? It's got this trend line going on right here that could act as support from like an exited channel. So we're not necessarily, does it have to just come down right now. Locally, we got a trend line here that still okay. I want to see what happens here. If we do happen to come down to about 168. That was on the weekly. It's coming down to the daily. What are you looking like? Rolling over a little, or she's getting tired a little bit. Touching the 100 moving average. All right. So there might be a chance to get an NVIDIA if we drop a little bit in the stock market here. I'll be looking first at 167, what happens there, but we might come all the way back to 133 at some point. Take a look at MSTR MicroStrategies, which has sucked. Just sucks. She's down talking to the devil here on the daily. Yeah. She gave it up, but she's at 195. And of course, after I capitulate, she'll probably go back up to $400. That would suck. She broke the old trend line. I could see it retesting that at 255 if it wanted to. Looks like we got a 786, but not for the big one, right? What would we come down to? A 618. Went up to a 786 area, or almost. I can see a picture where we do come down to around $95 on MicroStrategy right there. As much as it sucks to say. coming down another $100 could be a happening. Could be. Just might take it a slow burn, and it can also come up before it comes down. And a lot of times we see that happen, right? So doesn't paint a good point for Bitcoin as much. Always says, I held MicroStrategy way too long. Regrets. Me too. The good thing about it was cool. Like before they started going off into all these other things, they were actually doing some stock splits, and I ended up with, it did a 10-to-1 stock split, and so I was like, oh wow, guys, I was so pissed I had to sell most of my bag several years ago to pay some taxes, and left enough. I think I just had 3 shares left of it, and it did a 10 split, and then it was back to 30 shares again. I was like, oh cool, yeah, and looked so good. And then I sold a little bit when it was above 400, but I didn't sell enough, and she started dropping. I was like, okay, we'll wait till I get back. I left my limit orders, but we never got back up there. Well, now here we are. So, and the only thing I can say is that I've been spread so far within crypto and stocks and everything that it's been harder to manage and catch these things. So that's a real thing. You say not to be in too many coins. I think that's a real rule that should be that we should stick to. So I'm going to put that under the rules games over here. Why do you keep changing on me? Why can't we just keep the same spot size? 3. Don't be. And too many assets. Fewer the better. We're just reinforcing some rules over here. Sailor bought like 8,000 Bitcoin today, and price still tanked. I don't know what Sailor's on. Like I said, with MicroStrategies, it's just been a total train wreck disappointment. Whatever they changed, whatever they did, it's not working. It's probably working for them, but it ain't helping. It's screwing over everybody that really believed in MicroStrategy itself. They sell on Sailor bias, disrespectful and smart. And Bitcoin did have a CME gap at 91,000 that it closed. I saw someone talking about that earlier too. CME gap. I go to the Christmas tree candles over here to kind of look at it. All right, what the hell? Ah, jeez. And I think we were looking at the CME gaps with when Jim was on not long ago. A little harder to see over here. So if we look over to the left, it was this little gap over here. Yeah, I think Jim was pointing that one out too, because it makes these little islands, or what they're called islands, which can be a reversal. Oh, I mean for over here with the island, and actually it was a reversal that formed an island, and that's kind of a very rare pattern. I think that's one of the first times it happened in crypto, I believe. We were talking about it. Was this it? Yeah, March. That's a weird situation, but it does turn out to be a reversal. That's the first time I learned about the island reversals. And that's where you have a gap on both sides, and you got this little bit island of price activity. Interesting concept. Happens a lot on the regular markets, but we don't really see it that much in crypto because, well, we don't have gaps. It takes a lot to make a gap in crypto. It just takes a weekend of differential price traction between the futures account, CME futures, and our regular market to make those gaps on the weekends. So yeah, we're closing that one. I don't see anything else over here that was closed. Might that be enough? Now here on the daily, we're at the 360 moving average. I think I can clear this one off too. I always like to draw my trend lines. I still see just a little bit lower we can go here. So this is CME futures, and sometimes I like to look over here because their moving averages come out just a little bit different because of their lack of weekend trading. And it's been helpful to kind of see when we're, bullish reactions when we were kind of bearish in the market on the regular charts. And we come over to here and say, well, it's not as bearish over here. And this is like where the real money's at. And I think it's a good thing to check in on. And there looks like there might be some support building up here for, like I said, we might be coming back up to, at some point, retest 100,000. I do believe it's very possible to see that. We got just a little bit of bearishness going. We get one red candle day or a couple of red candle days, and then Twitter, X, and YouTube are saying it's all over, throw it all in, sell it all now, or start getting the worst. The emotions take over. But if we try to be calm, cool, and collected, and just remember how price action always works, it's a zigzag. It always gives a little, takes a little, right? So even if you find yourself on the wrong side and things are looking scary now, if we're patient, don't make any stupid moves too quickly right now, sell out of fear. Let it try to do a little recovery, because coming back up to a 200 moving average, that's so common. Have we got any other examples where we come down and look, we lost Lucy, or we lost that one here, and it's all over? I'm just saying it's probably a good practice to just try not to let the emotions make us make stupid choices over here. There's my big pattern that looked like it was going to do it. It looked like it was going to do it. It did not do it. So was the fault my fault or the pattern's fault? Well, I would blame it on me before I would blame it on that. Maybe I'll have to go over and make sure I didn't miscalculate, but whatever. In hindsight, we're losing a red trend line over here. That's not looking too cool, is it? Alright, I think we can take all you off over here now. Get us some fresh charts over here. Bitcoin at $91,700 right now. And just doing the local pool here, suggests that 86 would be on the target. With an honorable mention at 80, that's... Are we popping in and out again? Come on, internet. Jeez. Alright, so just got a lot of stuff pointing right over there. And let's see what happens. So moving average wise, daily, it looks like we're coming down to talk to the little devil girl right there, and that's coming in around 86. We also got 80, 84 for our 382 fib, which I would expect us to actually touch it. 81 for an 886, maybe, if we kind of wick a little bit. I don't want to see a wick out of trend lines anymore. I can't stand seeing any more wicks out of trend lines anymore. You need to respect that trend line. So see what happens here. 86.8 out of you, Bitcoin, because you seem to be dropping like a rock on a bad day. We need a fresh restart. More cowbell, please. Well, I can bring out the cowbell, and we can pray to Jesus. This market don't seem to be having a good Monday. Smash the likes. The likes button helps the channel. It does. It kind of feels like the bottom, but I said that at 94. I know it was possible to drop to 90,000, so we'll probably drop to 80 now. Well, I mean, there are the levels of support there. And like I said, the fibs make very good areas. And really, when you're zooming out to the overall move, coming down to this 382 fib level is technically bullish if it can hold, right? I wonder if we get a fourth and fifth leg. I can only see the obvious 3-leg monster. I see what you did there. Now this looks like a nice 5-way structure with an ABC correction, and I think if we turn Elliot on, he will see that too, right? Oh crap, Elliot. Stop doing drugs, Elliot. Here we go. So in this way, 3, 4, 5, ABC, and yeah, Elliot's calling for. Where are you calling for, Elliot? 91. You think here? What fib is that? 1.109. I've never heard anybody use a 1.1009 fib. Why would you use that, Elliot? Do I have to deep dive that Fibonacci? I've never heard of that. All right, so Elliot thinks we're on an ABC correction, and that means that we should find a bottom here and then start trying to come back up and recover a little bit. Let's try to make a new wave structure. Now, how that plays out, I don't know, but that's at least what Elliot sees. And I can see that structure over here too. We just gotta bend over and take it right now, ladies and gentlemen, going into Thanksgiving. It's gonna be an interesting Thanksgiving, talking to your family and say, how's that crypto working out for you? I said, well, I had to borrow money to get here for Thanksgiving dinner. Well, how the hell do you think? Oh, did you mortgage your Lambo? Pawn shop does not borrow, does not buy remote control cars, and you know that. That was a dirty thing to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 6 people hanging out. I think we kind of went through the brunt of it all, but altcoins are dying again over here. Are these Zcash? Let's take a look at a few of these of the strong players. Let's take a look at Zcash. As crazy as it seems, Zcash still hanging in there, right? May have lost its parabola, may have did a bearish retail. Look at that! I'm going to leave that line on there. It seems to be respecting that that curve that we drew in here. Now we're on the underside of it. That's usually not the sign that we want to see, and that's the curved lines are valid lines. They're just they can be subjective though, so I don't like to use them too much. I always say the straight trend lines are your best way to go. So we lost that, and looks like we might be coming down to 580 or something. So is it all over? You got bearish divergence here on your 12 hours. Go to the daily. Got bearish divergence here. It could be, and Bitcoin is going down for sure. I see no reason to entertain the thought that Zcash is going to continue on to $1,000. Maybe it does. Now, in 2017, it was after Bitcoin topped that we started getting into our altcoin season. Now, I don't think that we're going to see exactly that same scenario. I think that idea is probably gone. But we can still see some influence on that, right? But here is our total 3 on the daily. This is our altcoins, and they're not very happy. Not very happy, and it looks like we said earlier, we might be losing another 80 or another 70 billion out of altcoins. So I would say all of our altcoins are probably taking a hit, and if they haven't taken a hit yet, well, consider yourself lucky. You still got a chance to de-risk before they do take a hit. So Zcash still not in a bad place. I think I've already layered my stops and everything. I don't. Zen was another one. So this one was in. We did see this harmonic pattern here that actually played out, and it did come up and hit our targets. So hit it beautifully. Look at that, 78% gains out of that one. Out of Zcash. This was the play that we had on Zcash, and gosh darn it, I'm going to have to take this time just to toot our own horn here. Now, she hadn't come up to her 786, but as far as the play for this pattern, it did beautifully for getting it. 78% gains out of this. And we'll put this over into the vanity wall here. Oh, what's he doing? Isaac Delgado's got some nice games. You were longing? You had a 20x long? What was that? You got in at 3,000, got out at right at 32. Was that recent? November 17th. That was today. Huh. Shout out to Isaac, posting some gains over there. I remember when Isaac was first in our trading group, and I'm not taking credit for all that he knows how to do. I think he picked up some things from other places too, but he would be there. I remember him being there, and he would be asking, and he would be so nervous about certain coins and this and that, and he didn't have an understanding of the market. And within the past 2 years, I think, maybe, he's on top of his game now. So hopefully, he's still hanging around. So I think he took some things from our channel and the strategies that I show over here. And I honestly, I don't know what his strategy is, but whatever he's doing, he's killing it. And so that's great should be comfort for some of you guys who are struggling to know that, well, the markets will make more sense. You just got to keep trying at it. He said he studied hard, and he dug his heels in, and he learned, and so now you're seeing the payoff. So shout out to you, Isaac, man. You played it right. You dug in and you learned, instead of just following people blindly. Because it did feel like that's what he's doing. He's just waiting to see what I would say or something like that to give insight to make a move. And there was a period of frustration when things maybe didn't happen or something. But now he's got it. Now he's got it. So shout out to you, Isaac, man. Give you a clap. I'm not on the right screen to do that, or I'd give you a shout out here. Zcash. Nailed the setup. 78% gains on spot. All right, so we put that over there, and now what the hell? It was Zcash. We got a little trend line here, and we could be coming back down to 588 in that area. I don't know if we're going to bounce and go bullish again on that or not. End up making a lower high here, so we might actually have something else going on. What did you give me out of that one? 886 area. There could be another harmonic pattern there. We could see Zcash come on down to 300 if we're not careful. Mr. Ethereum says the only reason why people are freaking out on this correction is because everybody's anticipating the 4-year cycle is still in play. If they are not, then this is nothing. Well, yeah, the 4-year cycle, I mean, we got to take that in consideration, though, because the 4-year cycle, time-wise, is over. Time-wise is complete. And so either you believe is still going on, and I've explained that in my versions of it. Some people are saying it's all totally dead. I can't say that just yet. But I think it's only sensible to be very cautious now for any long plays, because we don't want to see what in last cycle they were calling for a super cycle too, but did we get it? No, we went straight in the bear market, and nobody wanted to see it last night. At least this time we got a lot of people that were, kind of early on declaring it, and so early that we're looking, I don't know, man, you're kind of really bearish all of a sudden without all the confirmations we need. Well, we've slowly been getting all those confirmations. And the reason that weekly 50 moving average was not the greatest one. So we need to be cautious, but time-wise, we should be in bear market territory. I mean, that's just facing reality. Doesn't mean they can't get a flush out. Doesn't mean they can't pull something on us and we can have some kind of relief, or maybe even something happen in Q1. I'm open to that idea, but it's not my main play. Not my main play. I'll be open to it because I know how these bastards can work, and this could be a big ass flush out before they take us up in Christmas. Who knows? I'll be open-minded to that. I'll try to look for it. But overall, I got to stick with the guns and got to have some set rules and guidelines. And right now, we're saying it's time to be bearish, or be entertaining those ideas. Like I said, I have an interior trend line on Zcash, like the midline. I think is respecting it very well. I need to go back and check again. Next year, hopefully, I'll be better at trading. gosh. It's just been a sucky crypto cycle for altcoins, especially. Very disappointed in that. And some of them are still at bear market prices, as we possibly could be talking about going into a bear market. What does that look for altcoins? Wow. I mean, crazy thoughts, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, I believe I came on here just to give my update on Bitcoin and the market. We're at 92,000 now. What are you doing, Bitcoin? Are you getting spicy? You trying to fake everybody out now? All right, so let's take a look locally here at Bitcoin. Just locally, she is at an area where we can get a little bit of relief. She came to the full extent, 1618 right here from this low to that high. So I would expect it to start working its way back up. How far? Well, then it's pretty... and our little fib strategies that we use here. We're looking for us to come back. Basically, we're looking for 382s and 0.5s at this point in the game. So we're looking for 93. We're looking for this little box. There's a couple little boxes, but this is the most noble one where we're most likely to experience some rejection. So sure, maybe we can go to 94.5, but 93.8 area and 93. I would expect us to come back up and retest this area and possibly roll over there before we go lower. How much lower can it go from here? It can go lower. 84, being one of them little tricky bastard areas. You do have a pattern forming here locally, which could technically be bullish after we kind of come down and figure out what the hell we're doing. Forming some kind of bottom structure here. Now, the first instance of it may be a partial decline is, well, we haven't really come down to the bottom of the trend lines. 618 fib from this area. We might be trying to local bottom out here before we come back up to test. I'm still saying there is a scenario where we'd be coming back up and retesting 100,000. I think that's very viable. Very viable. And probably a lot of you guys and a bunch of other people will probably be trying to short that. I will be, and maybe there will be a short squeeze and we get back above 100,000. I'll be cool with that. I'll probably be pissed that it went the wrong way on me, but that just sucks being in crypto right now. Can we just say it? Just say it out loud. It just sucks being in crypto right now. Sucks. 93,000. All right. So right now it looks like Bitcoin wants to try to go up a little bit. So opening shorts here is probably not the best idea, but opening up after we get to a higher low, that's what we're looking for. So your higher lows for here, we want to look at 786 fib areas, right? If we happen to get up there 94, around 95, that might be an area to entertain toward the top of this trend line. If we happen to make it up there, may not even make it up there. Those are the ideas to be looking at to open a short. And still the possibility if we can look up here to 100,000. If this pattern does play out bullishly, we get a breakout above that. So, tricky dicky. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Sucks. You guys agree? Sucks being in crypto right now. It does. Well, let's snort some Satoshis. Subscribe to the channel, says Nightbox. All right, guys, I'll be on tonight, and we'll come back and see how our, lick our wounds and check our bruises and whatnot, and see what's going on in the market. I've layered my stops, and I've de-risked a lot of my positions here. As I'm watching this account just dwindle down to hardly anything resembling where it first started. Sadly as it is, I'm out of Dash. Looks like I got stopped out of that. So it's sitting a little bit more cash heavy in some of these, or whatever, heavier, not as much risky. Definitely not trying. I can't wait to get my next long in. Not looking at any of that, and we just gotta, see if we gotta flip and find the best shorting opportunities or whatever it might be, or just get the hell out of it and find something else better to look into. Be open to that, looking at other things other than crypto as a possibility, but we take it each day as they give it, and boy, they've really given us the shaft on this bull market. This Q4 has been awesome. How about all them altcoin season people? Been calling altcoin season all year. Good night, everybody. I'll see you again on the. I'll see you again tonight.
For those of you out there that have been hitting that like button, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.